Good morning to all. Today we see that the risen Lord appears to his disciples for the third time. The appearance of the risen Lord were in miraculous ways. Some of them are on the evening of the first day of the week, when the doors were locked, where the disciples were for fear of Jews, Jesus came and stood in their midst and said to them, "Peace be with you." Second, we see that now that very day, two of them were going to a village 7 miles from Jerusalem called Emmaus. And it happened that while they were conversing and debating, Jesus himself drew near and walked with them, but their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. When the doors were locked, Jesus stood in the midst of them. When two disciples were walking, he joined with them. When they were working fishing, Jesus helped them to catch fish. The risen Lord was with them, but many times they failed to recognize him. A story goes, a man said, "God, speak to me." And a sparrow sang, but the man did not hear. So the man cried out, "God, speak to me." And the thunder rolled across the sky, but the man did not listen. The man looked around and said, "God, let me see you." And a star shone brightly, but the man did not see. Again the man shouted, "God, show me a miracle." And a life was born, but the man did not notice. So the man cried out in despair, "Touch me, God, and let me know you are here." Whereupon God reached down and touched the man. But the man brushed the butterfly away and walked on. God is always around us in the little and simple things that we take for granted. We look for God with a modern eye and fail to see the whispers of God in our heart and in our surroundings. And today's gospel, we find that the disciples returning to their occupation as fishermen. We know Jesus had called them away from their profession some years earlier. He had called them to follow and to be with him and to share in his work of bringing people into God's kingdom. However, now that Jesus had been crucified, there was nothing to do but go back to what they know best. They were returning to their past. However, the same as the two disciples on the road to Emmaus, who were heading in their own direction, these disciples were facing in the wrong direction. They were heading back to where they had been. The risen Lord now stood on the shore of the Sea of Galilee to direct them to renew the call he had made to them by the Sea of Galilee some years earlier. which had broken by leaving him in the hour of his passion and death. There is a saying that we are giving up many things for Lent and bringing back in a big way on Easter morning. We must aware that we are often tempted to go back where we have been. Yet the Lord is always calling us forward, even when we have failed Him in various ways. He continues to call us to begin anew and to cast our net in a different direction. Our relationship with the Lord always has a future that is full of hope. Easter is a season when we are invited to recognize the Lord on the shore of our lives, calling out to us to follow where He is leading us. Finally, Gospel of John, chapter 21, verse 15 onwards, we see that Jesus is entrusting Peter with the sacred mission, feed my sheep. The divine commission established Peter as the shepherd of the Christ flock, a role passed down through the ages to his successors, the popes. Today, as we await our next Holy Father, our shepherd on earth, let us take these days as a time of prayer to grant us a shepherd who is holy, faithful, and deeply united with His divine will, a successor of Peter, who will guide the church with wisdom, courage, and love.